because you have no units. So that was a little rough, but I mean maybe just trying a new build. It is
Yeah,
bronze
I think
silver
the
king of
only
the
thing
hill,
that
so
I think that really hurt him was the fact that he delayed his cybercore. I don't think that was in his plan. I think he just messed up a little bit, got a little nervous, maybe even just forgot about it for a second, and just that delayed cybercore completely messed up. Perhaps I think he wanted to go for a 4-gate, to be honest, and I think that just killed it.
yep. And up next is I hope I'm saying this right, Vapeskies, Vapeskies, something like that. I like Vapeskies. That sounds kind of cool. He is a bronze level Protoss player. Gonna get everyone in the game in a moment, so it is going to be another TVP on Zelnaga Caverns. Once we get the game set up and good to go. So yeah, we've been seeing a decent amount of TVP tonight, which, well, actually we've just been seeing a decent amount of Protoss in general, I think. And I mean, I'm a Protoss player, so I'm going back and forth. Looking at the list now, it seems like we've been fairly even as far as races go. So, all right, getting everybody into the game.
To be honest, TVZ is probably my favorite matchup to watch overall. Such a
It's
fun matchup.
it's definitely up there for me. I mean, I just in general like games where there's a lot of a where Protoss is playing in general, because if somebody does something really cool, I can steal it. But Vapeski's thanking VT Gaming, and I'd like to extend a thank you as well for sponsoring this tournament. Right now, it looks like Darth Ducky's in the lead, but DNH possibly, if he can win 3 games in a row, he will have it. If he can win 2, it'll be up to a random process of determination to decide who gets those. And it looks like both players are ready, so we're gonna get underway here with about 40 minutes left in this King of the Hill showdown. Plenty of time for a few more great games. I'm, again, Spartan StarCraft. With me is Praxis, co-hosting with me. I think it's been a lot of fun so far, I want to say. A few technical snafus early on aside. We've been really rolling through it the past few games. So here we go on Zelnaga Caverns as the game loads in any second now. There we go. In the bottom left-hand corner, it's Vapeskies as the pink Protoss in the top right, DNH spawning as a green Terran. So back on Zelnaga Caverns, definitely been the map of the night.
Spamming that rally command. Oh, I didn't know if you caught that, but that's...
But yes, players spamming fairly common. We do see that Vapeskies has 90 APM right now because of probably that early fast spamming, which, I mean, I do the exact same thing. It really helps you stay focused, get in the game to do that. Obviously, APM despite how a lot of people feel about it, not the first thing I'd say anybody but a Masters level player needs to worry about, and even then probably not till mid or high Masters you have to worry about it too much. If you're hitting the hotkeys, if you know what you're doing, I think your APM will probably be okay for most of the time, so that's something to keep in mind as a bronze silver level player, that don't get too stressed out if your APM is around 30 or so.
Yeah, you actually need it more for Zerg than for Toss or Terran overall, to be quite honest. Mainly just due to larva injects, which I found painful when I was starting to try and play Zerg.
I have respect for any player. I don't care what skill level you are. If you can keep up larva injects, you're doing pretty well in my book. Just because that's a tricky thing to train. I've tried playing Zerg a few times, and I don't think I can go a game without missing a huge number of my larva injects. So it definitely, if you're hitting most of your injects, you're doing a good job as a Zerg player. Even if your win record isn't always showing it, that's probably one of the trickiest skills to learn early on. So, but of
Yeah,
course,
and that type of thing also helps, whenever you need to produce overlords and stuff like that. If you can manage to hit the larva injects, you can definitely, not get supply blocked, which is real key early game.
absolutely. So we do see again Terran walling off. DNH, I guess, does. So I'm curious if Vapeskies will punish this. His cybernetics score does come down at a good time though. So going to be a very standard opening, of
I feel
course.
like 4-gate tends to punish the wall quite a lot because you you hit it at around 5:30 or so, or maybe 5:50, close to 6 minutes before before the 3 racks really starts to produce a lot of units. And you can just pick out the depots, pick at the barracks itself, pick at any units there are. Um, because 3 racks actually takes a little while to start building up a lot of units, especially because you need the stim, and then you got to get the tech lab and the reactors, so it takes quite a while.
Yep, and also probably almost as bad as it makes it really hard to get a bunker down without. Well, I guess you can move the
Move the
barracks, but
Yeah, that's exactly what a lot of people do. Something that I know that Janook, who's a master's level Terran player, and I've seen him do this a lot, is he'll wall off with 2 depots and a racks, and then he will later move it and place it with a bunker. And he does this Thor build where he gets a quick Thor with strike cannons. It's actually quite effective. But we see the double gas from Vapeskies, so we're not going to see a 4-gate. I don't think so, at
yeah, I
least.
believe in the SC Reddit Invitational, if I remember correctly, Chinook took a game off of White Raw with that build. I believe it was White Raw.
I think it's minigun. I think it was
Oh,
minigun.
minigun. Yeah, I remembered it was versus Protoss, but yeah, so that sort of just shows how powerful those sort of build can be. Chinook with that sort of creative style that I think he basically built himself. So we do see that it is 3 racks coming up from DNH. It's not a 4-gate from Vapeskies. It's 2-gate Robo. So this is a good build if you want to be a reactive player because you can get your observer out at a fairly early time, and you can use that to scout your opponent, figure out what they're doing, and respond
Yeah,
accordingly.
this is a very standard build against Terran, especially because that robo allows you not only to see into the base and see how they're teching, but it also prevents against any type of kind of cheesy banshee cloak banshee play, which if you're unprepared for that is almost just an instant win for the Terran. And we see Vapeski's money is building up. Is he going to expand off 2-gate robo and then add perhaps another 2 warp gates right away? I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time before. Well, he might have enough time before the 3 racks hits him.
I think if he threw it up right now, and he had some good control and force fields in the fight, he would be fine. He can't. He obviously can't. A move versus that to win. But there are these chokes further up on Zelnaga Caverns, which you can split an army decently at those if you can.
He also has a sentry, so he also has like 3 sentries. So I feel like perhaps he just turtles a little bit. If the Terran decides to come up his ramp, I mean, he can definitely make a dent in that army. And
Yep.
we see the army moving out right now
And the
for
observer got there just in time to see it move out, so he's going to know what's going on. He's going to be able to prepare accordingly. I'd like to see him
see
start
a
chrono.
forge going down. That's a bit interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
that's he's not going to be able to get cannons up in time to defend this, so that's not going to
I think
really
those
help.
warp gates are still not being used. He really needs to stay on top of those warp ins, especially now. He really needs those forces.
Yeah, both of
Um,
them have been unused for at least about 15 seconds now. I've been watching them. He should not only be using them, he should be chrono boosting them right now because he's going to need every unit he gets, even if he gets some great force fields right here.
yeah, see,
Which
4 sentries just they don't do enough damage by themselves. And okay, well, actually, that wasn't too bad of a trade. I'll say right there, that was pretty good.
that was a good force field. It wasn't enough that I think this attack is repelled yet,
Now
but it might have.
he needs vision of his ramp. He needs to hit the sentries closer right now, or else they're gonna go up like that.
Yeah, and he does actually get that is actually a pretty good second force field. So 2 good force fields there from Vapeskies to his credit. So he might actually that might be enough to make this
That
army.
was a little bit of bad control by DNH. If you're gonna stim, just run up, just move your forces all the way up if you believe you're gonna win right there. Um, Little bit of a bad idea to try and run up and then start shooting and get half your army force fielded out because he had the opportunity to just stim and run up the entire ramp.
But for some reason he's
I'm not a
moving
fan of
out right
moving
now. I
down the
don't
ramp.
like that. Good. I hope he pulls back here. This is definitely not a good idea. Those force fields not doing very much. These immortals, though, if they're microed properly, they're taking out a lot of the
They will kill the
marauders.
marauders. I mean, actually, I think he is microing them pretty well. He's target firing the marauders with them, and the entire army goes down.
Seven and
But of
five
course,
kills on those immortals. So those were definitely the heroes of that. I think the Marines weren't microed to focus those down, and the Immortals were to focus down Marauders. So that really basically let him take out that army that probably with perfect control from both sides not necessarily would not necessarily have gone down. But very good to Vapeski's credit to take that out. Now he can expand. His opponent throwing down an expansion as well, slightly ahead of him. So
His opponent DNH is a little bit behind due to that push, due to the failure of that push. Actually, he lost a lot of units and really didn't kill just about anything. Um, I don't. I mean, let's see. Let's look at the units lost tab and we'll see. Yeah, he lost over 1,600 more resources than Vapeskies. So Vapeskies is quite a bit ahead right now, though his expansion is a bit delayed. So, you know,
this is
if
really interesting. That expansion's becoming a planetary fortress.
he probably just doesn't feel safe right now. You know, he doesn't have a bunker up or anything, and 2 Immortals, those 3 Immortals actually out now. Bunkers will just melt. And 4 Immortals, I'm not so sure. Most Protoss, I don't know. I'm gonna ask your opinion on this. What do you think about really heavy Immortal play? Because it seems to me that most Toss just prefer to get a couple to prevent the early pushes, and then just stop making them all together.
The problem is that Immortals are really good, but they're very easy to hard counter at the same time. Like if his opponent knows he's going like 5, 6 plus Immortals, he can just reactor out a bunch of Marines, and those Immortals are going to be pretty useless. Like they can be taken down so fast. But I mean, if his opponent at the same time though, if his opponent doesn't react and builds a very like tech heavy army, he's getting an armory out right now, so maybe he's going for Thors, which of course wouldn't be very effective against those Immortals.
He's gone for tanks mech play. Very interesting.
Ooh.
Uh, I not a fan of mech play on maps like this. Not to mention the already high Immortal count. Um, because he had 5 Immortals. Is he gonna pump out more? I think.
He's switching over to Colossi now.
Okay. All right. We see Thermal Lance is on the way, so he needs to get that 4th gas up if he's going to support this heavy of an army, gas heavy of an army. And let's see. Well, wow, he actually does already have +1/+1 for his Marines and Marauders.
And yes, and actually there's also +1 on Vapeskies. He's going to get his +1 armor shortly. Plus attacks are on those phase disruptors on those Immortals scale ridiculously well with upgrades. So
I believe it's +5, right?
Yes, I think you're right. It is +5 because they do they do 20. It's right now at +1 he's doing 22 and 55 versus armor, and I believe it's typically 50. So yeah, those scale incredibly well versus armor, which means this pretty Marauder heavy army will melt really quickly. If he tries to do a siege push, that can melt really quickly to these. So I don't think. But the problem is, just in terms of core army composition, he doesn't have very many gateway units to support this right now.
I feel like he really needs, I mean, Terra needs to scan, number 1, and then he needs to make ghosts. He really needs the ghosts right there. If you can, I mean, actually, the thing about Terran Mech is, I find Terran Mech, like, if you get enough Colossi, Terran Mech just melts. Immortals are really not the counter to tanks. Colossi counter tanks quite well. Like, you would think that, you know, you get an EMP off on, like, a Stalker Colossi ball with Zealot support, and it would be pretty easy to just mop up.
This fight in the middle of the field got absolutely, these Marines and Marauders getting absolutely obliterated, mainly by force fields. That was good engagement by Vapeskies to catch him in the choke. Siege tanks are sieged up as well, doing a lot of damage, but these Immortals only have to deal with tanks and Marauders now, so that's going to get cleaned up so quickly. 2 Colossi out.
Reinforcements are now probably going to get cleaned up, so we'll see. At the same time, I'm not sure he wants to push in with 2 Colossi. Probably just gonna doesn't seem too aggressive about it. He's taking a 3rd right now, so just being very macro heavy. I feel like he definitely needs either more gateways or another Robo Bay, or perhaps he wants to start taking the High Templar right now.
Yeah, I'd like to. Any of those would be a really good idea right now, just because he's going to be really ahead of his opponent. Although that planetary fortress at the natural is going to mean he's sort of going to have to take his time at pushing. Like he doesn't want to go in right away. He doesn't want to attack right away and try to pick it off or anything crazy like that. I do love storms, though. I don't know if he has, I believe, scouted that it's a planetary fortress. Yes, he has. I do love storms against that. because you can engage with your army, and then when they try to auto repair, you just Psystorm all of the SCVs and completely